So don't miss your chance to scratch, win, and cash in today. The Pennsylvania Lottery benefits older Pennsylvanians every day. Must be 18 or older to play. Please play responsibly.
And it's 10:30 on this Friday morning, and we're now joined by Rick Gates from the Gates Funeral Home here in Uniontown. Rick, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, TJ. It's great to be back as always, and thank you again for everything this station does and keeping us entertained throughout the day.
All right. I like your Virginia shirt. I got my Pitt shirt. So
I was going to say, we'll have to go at it. Well, this is where my daughter's son, Skylar's, she's heading off. She's leaving for college early with me, so I'm down one worker, but we'll push on. But she signed a full scholarship to the University of Virginia for volleyball. So.
Awesome. All right, Rick, as we always do, why don't you tell the folks where you're located and how they can get a hold of you if they need to.
Yes, sir. Well, my name is Rick Gates, Ricky Gates. I'm with the Gates Funeral Home located at 136 North Gallatin Avenue here in Uniontown. We are available to speak to at 724-434-8040, or you can go onto our website and see a little bit about us at www.gatesfuneralservices.com. And if anybody has any questions or concerns, or you'd like to chime in, you can email us at gatesfuneralhome@gmail.com while we're doing our interview, or reach us over Facebook on WMBS or through the Gates Funeral Home Facebook page.
All right, Rick, we want to start out today by talking about the importance of the funeral itself, because we were just talking, a lot of people now aren't actually having the services or anything like that.
Yeah, that's I was speaking with a few of your coworkers, and it's funny. Things are changing, the times are changing, and families are getting thinking that just because something's new, it might be an easier or better idea to do some things. Not saying it's not. Some families, that's all they need is to be things to be very simple. But I stress to so many families, if you have children, you have grandchildren, you have great-grandchildren, brothers and sisters. If you have a family, or you have family members that are known in the public, there's a comfort, and the funeral is a helpful way. It's a way for your family to cope, and it's a way for your friends and relatives to cope with someone's loss. And a lot of families are going more to a less traditional and just having, whether it's an immediate burial, direct cremation. And the only thing I caution families about it, from this perspective, I'm going on 30 years and being in this industry, and licensed for over 25, but just being around this, the comfort it gives people to come in to a funeral home and or a facility such as the AMVETS, and have a celebration of life, or just be able to sit there and share some time with people that there's stories that are going to get lost. There's condolences. I always caution families, when you don't do a viewing or funeral, a lot of times everywhere you go, you're going to see a friend or someone who doesn't know that mom or dad's passed. I heard about your parent. How's she doing? Well, mom passed. And then you're going to go down to another store, and you're going to have to relive this for weeks sometimes. I mean, you put something in the newspaper, on Facebook, which I highly advise at least putting something online. But the fact is, whenever that portion is skipped, though, you sometimes lose focus of who, too, was a friend of your loved one that didn't have that opportunity to at least see you, to see them, and then to say goodbye. It's happening more and more. We get a lot of phone calls. Did you assist this family with taking care of their loved one? And, they begin to call around, and it becomes harder on your friends and relatives. You don't know who's still out there. A lot of folks, we don't know who our parents' friends are from the 1970s, 80s that you may have lost touch with. I mean, my dad reconciled with a good friend of theirs he hasn't seen in years. We helped their family, and there they were. And it was just, it's a wonderful feeling to see someone and to spark those memories and to share with people about your loved one, something that you might not know. I mean, did you know when your grandpa was in the war, he did this, this, and this? We don't know. If you don't provide that opportunity for families to talk about about it, you're never going to know or understand those sort of things. And it's sad sometimes because we're pulling away from the personalization of life, I feel sometimes. And that's something we don't want. And this is the way to carry on your loved ones' stories, their history, and carry their memory, is if you have more memories. Boy, I never knew, or you talk to your parents, I never knew Grandpap was a part in this association with the railroad. Do you know anything about it? It's just, when you glance over that, or we don't need that. I mean, some families, I'm not saying it's wrong, but I'm also saying don't look at the other side of the coin and say, wow, I didn't know, our Grandpap had so many friends out in this area. And I'll tell you one quick story. I once had a family. They didn't do anything. They just had a brief little service, family only. Well, this gentleman drove 3 hours to see and say goodbye to his friend. He was trying to surprise the family, and it wasn't the type of service that he was hoping to have, and to see his friend and say goodbye. And the disappointment. I'm not saying this is for everyone, but it can sometimes be hard for your friends or your best friend or someone your kids couldn't get a hold of to let them know of a passing. It's hard for them to get their closure too. The closure's not just for family, it's for those that they've worked with, friends and family that are close to them. I mean, there's a lot to be said for the other side of the coin. And like I said, you don't have to use a funeral home. You can have a simple cremation. And one of the nice services I did, I went to a hall. We had a preacher offered a blessing for the family. They had a few eulogies, and we sat down and had some food and had a little bit of music. So, it can be non-traditional in that way, but I'm just telling families, please remember whenever you're asking for a certain type of service, what you might be overlooking. Just because a service is more simple doesn't mean that you're making it easier on your family. In fact, you could be making it more difficult by not setting those times aside for people to grieve and say goodbye.
What are some of the reasons, Rick, you hear that people aren't having, funeral services?
I think, of course, one is cost, and still in my funeral home, it's not what you think it is. If you want to gain that closure, we're not talking about a big difference at all. That would be primarily one of the reasons. But the other thing is, I think we're in a big hurry for nothing. Honestly, it's, we have to do this. We have errands to run. We got, people coming in. We don't know what day. We don't know what time. This is starting to become a hassle when in fact, I tell families I sit down with, you're in charge. People who want to be here are going to make that time. They're going to be here. They're going to support you. And if they can't make it, you're still allowing that time. Oh, I heard about your dad. I'm sorry, we can't make it in next Saturday, but know that our thoughts and prayers are with you, instead of, when do I call? When's a good time? I hope they're not busy. I hope that, allowing that time is so important. It really is. And I think just everybody got up and got in a big hurry, and that's kind of where we are in life. It's, rush through everything. Yep. In fact, you get one chance to lay your loved one to rest or to do the services. So I always tell my families, please do what you think is right. Don't skip over something just because you read it on Google.
Yeah. Another thing, as we switch gears a little bit here, you had a motorcycle run recently. Yeah. Talk about that.
Well, we had a A-bait run for Owen, with who our family was blessed with seeing his family through the difficult time. Owen's mission, for those that don't know, the family supports Life Back, and which we've had his grandfather Bob in here to show and introduce that product. If anybody needs to know how to get one of those, or if you need to talk about it, you can always call my funeral home. And also the Chubby Hands Foundation. The Chubby Hands Foundation is founded here in Uniontown, and what we do is anyone who loses a loved a child, preemie to 18, we're here to help you, not just financially but spiritually, and also with a new office that's been opened up for some counseling. And Vicki Wheatley, who is again the rock of the foundation, and she's kind of, everybody tries to stick to her and keep up. She's begun to expand a little, but we had a run. So the A-Bait had the in Owen Hockenberry bike run. That was on August 2nd, so after our last visit here. And I cannot thank the American Legion, the bikers, the A-Bait, and TJ, we had people from all, over near Ohio, out to Altoona, bikers. There was over 95 motorcycles in that run.
That's
It was
awesome.
amazing. These people are amazing. We raised well over $17,000.
That's great.
And we couldn't have done it without the Hockenberry family. Danielle, I don't know how she does it. Her husband Dustin, they're just wonderful. And of course Bob, the grandfather who has been in here, they're a tremendous family, and they're, as they say, we're trying to prevent this from happening to anyone else's family.
Yeah.
And they're getting the word out there. And thank you to everybody in this community that had a part of this. Buck John, he rallies those bikers together. The Legion, I mean, they're open arms, everything there. They don't tell these organizations no. So I thank everybody who had a part in that. And I want to just tell people that this charity is growing. It's wonderful. It's local. And if you do have any questions, you can please contact us. Go to the chubbyhandsfoundation.com, I believe. And just Google it. I know Vicky's going to text me and tell me.
I was going to say.
Because I always get them mixed up. But if you have questions, you can always call the Gates Funeral Home, and we'd be more than happy to point you in the right direction if you want to find out more. And we're here for you. We're here for the community. But that bike run was extremely impressive.
Let me see. Oh, you got it right, Rick. The chubbyhandsfoundation.com.
I got it. Okay, Vicky,
I did
you
a
don't
quick
have to yell at
Google.
me.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saved you there.
Yes, thank you. I'm sure the phone's dotting right now, but no. And just on a
Actually, you're right. She said right on Facebook,
okay,
so she's
Facebook.
on it
Thank
already,
you,
Rick.
Vicky. Okay. But no, she again. Now talk about someone that's strong. And on a personal matter, I just ask everyone for their thoughts and prayers towards Vicky and her family, and Jim Wheatley. We not getting into detail, but they just need your prayers right now and your thoughts. So please, not just for them, but for anybody who's going through a difficult time this time of year, please, keep everybody's families that are going through a difficult time in your thoughts and prayers.
And staying with Chubby Hands, Rick, why don't you talk a little bit more about that? I know it's only a few years, and you guys have really been expanding since it first started, right?
And it's, when we say expansion, it's getting the word out. People knowing and understanding why we're here and what we're here for. I have a lot of families that I've helped over the years that they're finding out about it, calling it, and can you make a donation in my husband's name? We have one lady. She's always every couple of months calls me up. We get together, and I mean, bless her heart, she's wonderful to the foundation. And she had no direct involvement by needing our services, but she still contributes and just passes the word on to everybody about what we're about. And again, this cannot continue without such tremendous support from the community. And there's an outpouring after that bike run. I'll tell you, we couldn't believe it. It was just it was wonderful to see how many people care. And I mean, everybody. I can't stress enough. We're a small town. We're a close-knit group, and we can help each other. We've just got to come together and do it.
And that shows right there. And did you guys expect this foundation to come as far as it has so far in such a short period of time?
In the short period of time, I think we're blessed. We're happy. We are surprised, but I'll tell you, I'm not when I watch what Vicky does. I mean, she'll call me and send me a message. Oh, I'm here, and here. I mean, it's amazing at how quickly and her vision is coming to fruition. It's wonderful. And again, just getting out in the community, Bob Mitchell, I'm telling you, that guy, I don't know a business or anywhere that he did not call and touch base with. It's and he again was Oe's grandfather, and he was out there knocking on every door and every business in Fayette County. So again, this is the hard work and dedication these families have, not just to build the foundation, but to other families. So if they do need the service, they'll be taken care of.
And I know they're trying to get those devices into more places.
I'll tell you, the Fayette County is well taken care of. The schools, the nursing homes, the Life Vac is what we're talking about. The Life Vac's absolutely awesome. It's a tool that if somebody is going through a situation where someone needs the Heimlich and that's not working, it's a device used to dislodge anything that may be stuck in someone's throat. And it's good to have one around for the kids. Those of you guys that are watching grandkids, it's a wonderful device that could prevent you from having to deal with a situation that you don't want to, and it doesn't hurt to have that around.
So again, it's the chubbyhandsfoundation.com. If you need more information, you can also call Rick at the funeral home, and he'll get you all the information you need.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we are talking to Rick Gates from the Gates Funeral Home here in Uniontown. Also, Rick, I know we've some other topics that we always touch on. You want to talk about the cemeteries and, if you need military and how all that works with your services.
Absolutely. With our funeral home, anybody who comes in and is in the military has their service with the proper separation papers. They're the discharge papers. We can get you a flag. And thank you to the AMVETS 103 Post. They are the best group. I'm not afraid to say they are the best group that I've ever dealt with when it comes to giving a service to the community and honors to our fallen veterans and their comrades. And it's just so you know, it's They too, don't get the recognition. I have a pretty extensive resume. I've been down to Arlington. I lived in 11 miles from Arlington in the busiest funeral home in Maryland, D.C., Virginia area, and we're down there on a frequent basis. And I would put our AMVETS up against the service they give. They have more equipment. They got the case on for those that are retired, but these gentlemen pour their heart and soul into it. They care about the fallen, their families, and they support local. So please, anybody who's ever looking to support someone locally, the AMVETS are an absolutely wonderful, wonderful, wonderful group, and I thank them all for always being there at our call.
And how about the actual cemetery and how you get things like that set up there?
Things at the cemetery. When the time comes that someone does need our services, knowing what cemetery, a lot of them are changing hands. They have different names, or you're unsure, bring in any and all paperwork. At our funeral home, we'll line all that up. We take care of everything. There are a few cemeteries they require you to go out and physically see and look and indicate where they want their loved one to be buried. But recently, I've had a few families that things have changed. They can't remember the name, or it's changed names and different things. So these are small things that we talk about, TJ, with the pre-arrangements. Just saying, hey, we think this is it. Bring it in early. If you have questions, it allows you to have one less piece to the puzzle. If you don't want to do arrangements, you just want to say, hey, Rick, we're using you, and we want this is our cemetery, but we're uncertain what we own and what we have there. Because I've had several families that thought they had additional space to have their loved one laid to rest, and they come to find out no. So we have to adjust on the fly, and there's nothing more stressful when you're dealing with your family to have to make a huge decision about 48 hours from now, and you don't know what to do or what direction to go, or even what your options are. So,
and I know something else we talked about where you said some people already have a plot and all that planned out, but that there's still more.
There's more
than
financing.
Just saying, oh, I have a place, so it's all taken care of. That's not the case.
Yeah, there's so many. I wish I had $1 for everyone that came in and said, "Oh, Mom's got everything taken care of at the cemetery," and then you have to explain, they still have to dig the grave, and they assume it's paid for. I mean, some of these arrangements were made in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s, and that's something they usually didn't offer, was for them to dig
Yeah.
the grave. They want that at the time of someone's passing, just so they're up with modern, the modern burial price to open and close the grave. There are small private ones that they definitely don't prepay for those. You're just paying for the land. The next step is paying for them to dig the grave, move the earth, and have the grave prepared. So please, families, when mom, dad, aunt, uncle say, "Oh, we've got everything, it's all done," that could be a burden. I mean, there are cemeteries that are as expensive as, $3,000, if not a little more. And then there's some that are, $750. It just depends on where you're going and who's caring for the cemetery at that time. And keep in mind, family and friends, you can always bury ashes. And there are other options now with cremation being popular. If you say, well, our aunt had nobody, never bought cemetery property, we can always check and see if the availability to have them laid to rest on top of another family member, on mom or dad. I can't tell you how many times we were able to save the family a lot of money, and I offer them more than anything comfort knowing that their loved one is with their parents or with an aunt or uncle that they were fond of, or sibling. And you can get your marker put there. I mean, of course, it's going to depend on every cemetery has their own rules and regulations, but I can't tell you how many families are happy to know that is an option.
Yeah.
So if you wait till the last minute, sometimes making that decision can be a difficult one. You are given a little extra time with cremation, but just keep that in mind, that there are other options, and if we don't know about them and you don't know or understand, then we can't help you through it, So it's always good to line all this up.
And that leads us into the pre-arrangements, which we always talk about. And I know you have a nice booklet where it goes through everything you need to know.
Yes, TJ, we got everything from accounts that you have, things maybe the kids didn't know. I have bonds. You could be like my grandmother. She loved her bonds, and she had them in a safe place under the stair, under the carpet. And, so my dad had to go through the house making sure nothing was left behind.
Yeah.
That was the old security bank for some of the folks.
Yeah.
But this booklet allows you to write everything down. Heaven forbid something happens, your family can walk over to the drawer, see everything. There's even a place for the way you want your service conducted, what songs you want played, where you want your service, where you're going to be laid to rest. And then it goes on to more of the law and technical things. This is our lawyer. These are the accounts we have. Don't forget to check this. I have a strong box. It's just there's so much to be said. And here's the best thing. Come to my funeral. I give you the pamphlet. You take it home. You don't have to do anything more. You'll have it there. You fill it out at your leisure. Take a little bit of time. I have one gentleman that came and picked it up. I helped his family through a service previously. He took it home with him. He called me and he said, I took this just to read through and get an idea. He said, I got this entire thing filled out, and I feel so much more comfortable knowing that, because we know we're using you, Rick. We just now have everything lined up. And if something gets changed or they move an account, they just exit out, because you never know what this world holds. And if someone gets sick quickly, you're stuck with a puzzle with no picture.
Yeah.
So a lot of times you're scrambling. What does mom have? Where's her accounts? Whose name's on it? It's good to have these things set up so your family does not have to. And just give me a call at the Gates Funeral Home. I mail them out. I've mailed many to families and friends. You can always pick one up just to see the funeral home. I get that a lot. Oh, we haven't been in the funeral home in a while. Can we come in and take a look at what you've done? And when they see all the hard work that we've done, I mean, it makes them feel better also. So and there's nothing wrong with having that information out there.
Yep. So if you can get as much done ahead of time, that's the least you have to worry about when that time comes, when someone passes, and you can focus on the family and all that stuff then.
Yes, sir. And it's funny, I had a family that they did all their pre-arrangements. They came in, signed the paperwork, and they said, well, this is weird because we feel like we should be doing more,
Yeah.
So it's, and I said, well, the more that you're going to do is spend that time with your family, getting them in and spending the time like your mother wanted you to do, for you to spend this time, not toward making arrangements, but towards consoling your family and talking to people you haven't heard or talked to in years. So.
Do you see more people now trying to do more pre-arrangements ahead of time?
Yeah, and the big thing is we have a lot of folks that come in, they get an idea of what the cost of the funeral is going to be.
Yeah.
From there, they'll start. I do have the ability to start placing money aside and making payments toward your funeral.
Okay.
And I have a gentleman top of the hill. He'll call me up and, hey, Rick, I got $50 this month, and I got next month I got $200. So and you know what? It doesn't cause you to panic and say, I'm putting down, $4,000 for a funeral now. Now I got a budget. This way you can budget, put the money aside and make those payments and just slowly take care of what it is that you need.
That's great. So again, if you can do things ahead of time, it's going to save you in the long run.
Not just you, but your family. The heartache of your kids. Exactly. They won't fuss and fight over what casket. They won't, what's mom really want? She told me this once.
Yeah.
And that's where that booklet and pre-planning come in. If you don't want to put any money down and you don't have to. I have a lot of families, they came in, gave me preliminary information, and that was it. They're like, okay, we're good right here. This is, know what we want. I don't want to make payments, so let's just keep it on file. So
awesome. Got about 4 minutes, Rick, left, and what else do you want to touch on here before we get ready to wrap up? Well,
for those of you, I've been getting a lot of text messages and calls and emails about we finally got our clock up in front of the funeral.
Okay.
We have a very old clock. I saved an antique clock, an antique city clock from going to the scrapyard with the help of our neighbors at the ABC Schoolhouse, Kyle Watts and his father, and a group of friends and family that helped me get that thing back into working order. Those that are driving by, that is a clock, and it does work. So now your kids, if their phones ran out of battery, you can say if you passed the funeral home, you should have known what time it is. So we, that was an addition. I've been asked to touch base on that. They said, Rick, what is it? It's a functional clock. It's a little over 70 years old.
Wow.
So that's one of our new additions to the funeral home that I just wanted to mention to everybody who reached out on Facebook and who've beeped the horn as I'm out there. Thank you for recognizing that. When you do things, it does feel good to families, and we're always trying to improve.
Definitely.
Make things better. Outside of that, just on a side note, I think TJ, you and I talked about lightening up the subject a little. I want to remind everybody in the community, we're getting into the fall. School is back, and I went to my brother Brian, his boys, my nephews, Jeppy and Brantley. I've been going to their ball games here in Uniontown. Folks, if you're sitting at home with nothing to do, please support your local sports, your high school kids, the younger ones. I will promise you will get more entertainment out of going to visit them than to sit there and scroll through the internet and try to figure things out. It's these kids need your support. Uniontown, LH, they're doing a great job in growing, and I'm noticing more and more parents and families, because the Gates Funeral Home, we always contribute and try to help these kids because it was such an important part of my life and the structure, and it gave me that backbone that we needed to get this funeral home up and running proper and reach out to the community. But girls volleyball, high school, there's cross country, there's so many sports. Please, folks, if you're bored, you want to go for a walk and go watch some of the local kids enjoy themselves and have fun. Support local kids. It costs $3 to $5. So
it's not a lot of money at all. No. As we get ready to wrap up, Rick, one more time, all your contact information.
Yes, sir. TJ, thank you again. And I'm Ricky Gates with the Gates Funeral Home. We're located at 136 North Gallatin Avenue here in Uniontown. Former DeCarlo Funeral Home. You can reach us at 724-434-8040. And we also have a website, gatesfuneralservices.com, or you can email us or go on Facebook. Email is gatesfuneralhome@gmail.com.
All right, Rick, always good to see you, and we'll see you at the end of September.
Absolutely, TJ. Thank you, and keep up the good work. Thank you for everything.
You're very welcome. And that was Rick Gates from the Gates Funeral Home here in Uniontown. You are listening to WMBS Uniontown. It's 11 o'clock.
On the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Steve Kathan. President Trump has revoked Secret Service protection for former Vice President